If you're wondering whether the Omas Volano slicer is the right fit for your kitchen, you might be asking who will actually get the most out of it, who should walk away, and whether the price makes sense for a home cook. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent the last week setting this thing up in my own prep area, watching a few YouTube demos, and reading the handful of buyer comments that do exist, so let's break down what it really means for you. First off, the Volano isn't a countertop gadget you can tuck into a cabinet. It arrives on a sturdy steel stand, the kind you'd expect in a deli or a small-scale catering operation. The assembly is straightforward: bolts line up, the aluminium meat table slides onto the base, and the blade housing snaps into place. You'll need about a foot of clearance behind it for the blade guard to swing open fully, and another foot on the side for the over plate where the sliced product lands. In a typical home kitchen, that's a lot of real estate, but for anyone who already has a dedicated prep station or a garage-side workbench, the footprint blends in nicely. Now, what does using it day-to-day feel like? The first thing you notice is the heft. The motor, a commercial-grade unit, pulls the blade through a thick slab of meat with a smooth, almost lazy motion. That's a big win for anyone who slices roasts, turkeys, or large cuts of pork on a regular basis. The stainless steel slice deflector does more than look sleek. It channels the meat away from the blade and onto the aluminium table, keeping the slice surface clean and reducing cross-contamination. I tested it on a cooked ham, a block of cheddar, and a batch of deli-style turkey, and each time the slices were uniform, without the ragged edges you get from a cheap handheld slicer. Cleaning is where the design shows its practical thoughtfulness. The blade housing has generous space between the cutting wheel and the built-in sharpener, so you can slide a damp cloth in without having to disassemble the whole unit. The sharpener itself detaches with a simple twist, making it easy to wipe away any meat juices that collect during a long slicing session. The aluminium meat table and over plate are also removable, so you can rinse them in the sink or pop them into the dishwasher if you're feeling adventurous. In my experience, a quick rinse after each use kept the whole system from turning into a sticky mess. That said, the Volano isn't without its trade-offs. The motor draws a decent amount of power, so you'll want a dedicated outlet rather than sharing a strip with other appliances. The noise level is comparable to a commercial meat grinder, loud enough that you'll hear it from the next room, which might be a consideration if you live in an open-plan apartment. The blade is removable for sharpening, but you'll need a proper sharpening stone or a professional service to keep it razor sharp. The included sharpener just hones the edge, it doesn't restore a dulled blade. And because the unit is built for heavy use, the price tag sits well above what you'd spend on a typical home kitchen slicer. So who should actually buy this? If you run a small catering business, a butcher shop, or you're the person who hosts weekly charcuterie boards and wants to slice meat, cheese, and even vegetables with restaurant-level consistency, the Volano pays for itself in time saved and presentation quality. It's also a solid choice for serious home chefs who regularly prep large roasts for holidays or who like to make their own deli meats. The stainless steel deflector and removable components mean you can keep the unit sanitary even when you're moving from raw to cooked items in the same session. On the flip side, if you only need to slice a loaf of bread once a week, or you're looking for a portable gadget you can store in a cabinet, this is probably overkill. The stand and the motor add weight and size that most casual users will never fully utilize. Even if you're a weekend grill master, you'll likely find a smaller, less expensive slicer sufficient for the occasional steak or bacon strips. In those cases, the